All right. What's up, guys? Marcus going to open it a little bit here. Let's go check out what IBD has to say about the world.
Daddy.
Hold on. No, it's okay. All right, guys. We got Palo Alto earns sales top views 1 billion for Palo PANW. I think it's probably rocketing. Oh yeah, 259, right past the buy point, right there. Wow, looks good. Palo Alto sitting right there at highs and actually broke out. That's amazing. All right, 11 promising stocks added to IBD's powerful watch list. Let's check that out. That should be a good one. At least it better be. All right, Adobe's one of them. We know about Adobe. Watch that one for a little while. Basically double bottom base right there. There's your breakout point, but it's been consolidating up here, so I think that's probably your new breakout point. I don't think technically it's buyable at the moment. Earnings are coming up in 2 weeks, it looks like, so good. NMI, or NMIH, excuse me. NMIH is another one. We have REXR, another one. Okay. No sector leaves. IBD Big Cap 20 ANET, a familiar name. BA and Workday. All right, all those are really extended. AZO added to the stock spotlight. Looks like a distribution day yesterday after earnings. We'll see how that works out. FN. Fabrinet after earnings looks like it's moving into highs. A very loose ascending base possibly there. MFGP. Wow, that's pretty gappy. Don't know much about this name, but it looks like they had earnings that they liked a couple months ago, and it's been off to the races ever since. SPSC and T-Mobile. Interesting, T-Mobile up here. None of those looking super great. So thanks, IBD, for nothing. Planet Fitness jumps on earnings. A lot of jumping on earnings today. They had a big sell-off into earnings. Looks like they're kind of back up here, 61. We'll see if they sell off again. That's not a super great jump up. Best Buy crushes earnings estimate 67. Oh, this one would have been a good. This one would have been a good. This would have been good play. Good little turnaround play here. That'd have been perfect. 67. If you would have held through earnings. But good closing over the 50. It never really kind of left the program at all. Trump unveils big Boeing order in Vietnam, but only one is new. All right. Five stocks breaking out into highs. Etsy? Yeah, Etsy finally. Looks like something finally held with Etsy here on this third breakout attempt. It happens sometimes. It happens. We'll see if it'll pull back or not, but it yesterday was pretty good on earnings finally. But earnings over here and it didn't stick. We'll see if this sticks or not. It's been pretty choppy. I would almost take profits on Etsy. SERV soared 16%. KC breaking out. ALE, what's that one? Not too familiar with Alette. AZO, I think we saw AZO AutoZone yesterday. Maybe it was the other one. O'Reilly. We have O'Reilly in here. I don't think we have AutoZone. All right, a couple other ones of note to... What's up, Justin? CGC of note to buy, kind of some basing plays. CGC yesterday, I think was a pretty good candidate coming out of lows there. You can see right there the volume yesterday was pretty good, not great by any stretch, but it was definitely more green, and you can see it was a much fuller candle, so less distribution in that candle. It's getting up towards this trend line. We'll see if it'll keep rocking. CGC doing pretty good. Grub is interesting down here. Kind of one of these turnaround plays, these newer turnaround plays for my new strategy. Above the 50-day moving average, squeezing underneath this declining trend line. If it can get above this declining trend line, I think Grub could be a good opportunity. So let's go ahead and activate a trend or alert. Oh, there it is. Great alert. All right, so there's Grub. So you can see it looks like I'm a little below the trend line. I need to move it up a little bit to 83. $82.71. All right, let's see what's moving this morning. There we go, $82.71. Okay, so we got Jazz, MJ, Tesla, INSG, VMW, ZTO, SIVB. Those are basically flat though. Lilly down a little bit. Paycom, SBucks, Garmin. What's Garmin doing? Still holding super tight in that very, very high and tight pattern. That's some pretty bullish behavior. Kind of hard to do anything with it right now though. All right, Paycom. What's at the bottom here? NBEV, AMED, Whiting Petroleum. Looks like all these. Looks like oil didn't do good stuff. Daddy? Yes, James. AMRN, Nettie's. So get it. Those two. Okay, go ahead. Eli Lilly down 25 basis points, if you will. So Lilly kind of over the trend line there. Yeah, it's still these lows are just rocking it, just continuously higher on these lows, almost like a frozen rope pattern beginning. It's hard to call a frozen rope this early though. But definitely just living up there. Paycom. Still doing good, holding up at highs. All right, some of these other turnaround plays we got, like I said, CGC looks like it's pulling in a little bit. STZ looks pretty good for a turnaround play. We have Ruger, CHK. Let's see what CHK did. All right, hold on. I have to go get my son. Hold on. All right, and then overall we got the NASDAQ just chilling. Look in the top right corner. It's just hanging out. So that's pretty good. Yesterday, I'm not sure if I would consider that a distribution day. I'm not quite sure what the volume was, but it wasn't that deep at all. No, I wouldn't say it qualified as a distribution day. So just some more positives. Looks like MJ creeping its way up here. It looks like trying to creep past that pivot point for the first time in a long time. We'll see if it can succeed. All right, so it's working. Melicabre. All right. Mercado Libre. Sorry, wrong thing. Jumping on earnings. We had this one in a trend line. Hard to touch due to earnings. Unless you guys, you can do it with options, but you limit your risk that way, which is fine. Just be prepared for the risk. Ooh, Jazz Pharmaceutical looking like a good turnaround play possibility, but not giving you a chance to get in as it gaps up on earnings. MED, also a possible turnaround play. Also jumping on earnings. So this one's actually pretty nice. MED, it hasn't really fully broken out yet. There's still some room left on the chart here. Plenty of room to go. Remember, in these, your target's this 200 days. So that's a good 15, 16%. That could be, as long as this holds up and the market's, not horrible, that could be considered pretty good. So MED, I actually like that one for one of these turnaround plays. Chesapeake Energy with earnings as well. So it popped only 7%. I have a buddy of mine across the street that actually plays options, and we were looking at these 2.5 calls, which would be 54%, and these would have expired. So that would have been a really good trade yesterday. It's not a strategy that I'm really comfortable with yet, but Chesapeake was a name that I was familiar with. It had earnings coming up that was cheap, and these were like 2 cents yesterday. These ones here. And then these were also about 4 or 5 cents on the put side. And so that would have made a nice, handy little profit. Let me just double check. And I'm correct about that. Okay, looks like I'm wrong. The three strike was 1 cent and 2 cent. The 3 strike here is 5 cent and 6 cent. So that'd have been a really good risk reward right there. Then 2.5. Well, let's see what. Yeah, 2.5, 1 and 2. And then 2.5, 1 and 2. So you made really good on that strategy. That's one I'm still kind of working on. But that would have been pretty good on Chesapeake. Also, this is a candidate for one of those turnaround plays, crossing over the 50-day, trying to go up to the 200 days. So that's an interesting one. Square up 0.87% coming back today. It does have earnings coming up really soon. So if you're not involved in Square, I don't know if I would be jumping on the bandwagon here. Man, so jumpy, Square. I can't even click on you. Squeeze it into highs, though. They want to get this thing before earnings, it looks like. At least one person does. I don't know about the whole market. Here's it over the past couple of days, really trying to get over those highs. So that's pretty good for Square. ZTO. Of course, it's the open. So the market's super jumpy. Looks like ZTO looks like trying to come back a little bit. SIVB. Is still consolidating, not breaking down, which is okay as long as it doesn't break down. I think we'll be fine. Disney's one that I had that's not working out very well, and also what's that other one? Oh, EDU is one. See what it's doing. So EDU consolidating that move. Looks like it's trying to go higher again, bouncing after a little shakedown this morning. Paycom doing pretty nice up here. Lily's flat. Were they down or up? I don't remember. I think they were. I think they were down. Okay, so they're moving in the right direction, at least right now. That's good. Garmin. Anything else moved lower? NBEV, AMRN, Cron. Still consolidating after hitting that 25 level. So not much to do there at the moment. There's a possibility of a bounce. It looks like it bounced off the 20-day moving average, or through the 20-day, seeing some resistance, however. PayPal. Haven't looked at PayPal in a minute. PayPal seems to be getting on with the program here without much fanfare. Just kind of moving. Nothing crazy, but it's moving higher, so it's going in the right direction. That's good. You see, it's gone in for about 2 weeks without any major pullbacks. It's just like this, which is fine with me. I'm not mad at that whatsoever. Okay, so let's go top down. See what we're dealing with here today. Melly Fox F on earnings, really breaking that right there. Got going pretty quick. And it looks like it's still going, so you can probably jump on that if you want to, but it's a little extended. Most of these stocks don't get past 20% if they're lucky. And this one, so far, 2 candles in, looking okay. But we'll see if we get a pullback on that. It is up 11%. It started out up 5%. So it's already had a little bit of a run here, maybe too far. Chesapeake Energy, like I mentioned on this one, one of those turnaround play possibilities here if earnings is good. Looks like Chesapeake's was good. Let's see what it was. 21 actual doesn't give me an estimate. Planet Fitness, we noted that one in our when we just started here. Had good results on earnings. Blah blah blah. STNE doing pretty good right there. Planet Massey. Oh, Jazz Pharmaceuticals coming up 9%. Also a turnaround play. You got it basing here for quite a while underneath the moving averages. Popping over the 50-day, unfortunately, this is your entry. So you're going to have to try to manage that risk. See what this does throughout the day. I don't know if I'd enter right now on some of these big gap names, see how the market plays out. NASDAQ going positive almost. So keep a lookout for the NASDAQ to do good stuff. GNC. GNC kind of with a turnaround play situation. Not really. So you want quite a bit of breadth here between the 200-day and the 50-day moving average. This one, not so much right now. You have to play this for a bounce over the 200-day, which isn't part of a strategy that I'm familiar with. Lumber Liquidators. This one also good for a turnaround play. Does have earnings coming up in a little bit. 3.5. As we see, things have been moving, but it's going sideways over the 50-day moving average. And so far, you got 41% to that 200. So Lumber Liquidators, I had this on my list the other day. I'll add it again, but it's looking pretty good. Maybe a little too far gone above the 50-day. Your risk is a close below the 50-day. So that's about 12%, which is a lot. Excuse me here. So Lumber Liquidators could be getting away from you if you want that name. So jump on that if you want that. INS. Not really interested in that yet. Car. Tesla looks like jumpy today a little bit. Looks like had a good day yesterday. Actually ran up. So we mentioned this channel. This channel may be in danger of being broken. So far we failed to break down, have another leg lower. We have 1 leg lower, 2 legs lower. Haven't had a 3rd leg lower yet. Looks like we're testing highs again. So this kind of channel here could be a difference maker for Tesla in terms of this overall trend. 300 level. Eli's been buying it below the 300. That's probably not a bad thing. Tell my wife to buy more Tesla. Hey, babe. MDB. So is Auto Home. This one getting on with the program. Really nothing to do right now. Earnings happened. Happened? Really? 226 before. Okay, so it looks like earnings already occurred. And yeah, so I think, yeah, breakout above, I think probably above these levels is 94.66. So there's your high. See that little call out box? There's your high. So if it gets above that, Auto Home, that's a breakout. You clash something fierce, kiddo. Have a great day. I love you. Kiss. You clash something fierce. Blue and orange don't go together.
I didn't get orange.
Your stripe on your pants. Have a good day, Bugs. I love you.
Where?
You're okay. You're in 2nd grade.
Orange? I don't see it.
It's on the side of your pants. Are your pants on backwards?
No.
No?
Here, let me see.
No? Okay. All right, guys. Have a good day. Bye, Mommy. James
I
wants
thought
me.
you said you didn't like that shirt.
Daddy,
Yes?
am I going to school?
No.
No. Hey, let Daddy work. Come on. Do you want to color something?
Sorry, guys. You work from home in the morning. Things get hectic. VIPs. We talked a little bit about VIPs. VIPs is one that would have worked really good for that turnaround strategy. You can see right there, breaking out of that. If you wanted to wait for the breakout, if you wanted to get it on accelerating volume, actually that was your time for that as well. And then hasn't quite gone to the 200 yet, but you could have sold up here for, I mean, a really good percent. That's 30% just right there on that little leg. So VIP's one that would have worked. And it looks like it's trying to come back again. Could try to get a second pump out of this. It is after earnings, so that's good. You have a lot of green volume behind you as well. And earnings has this red volume bar, but this thing closed towards the highs, so I'm not really too concerned about that particular bar. All right, CAR CDNA also in breakout territory. So this one could be going. I like this one, CDNA. Earnings are coming up 3-6, so in about a week, a week, in about a week. So CDNA, VIPs, Tesla getting on with, I forgot to tell Rachel to buy Tesla. She buys Tesla every once in a while when I tell her to. EC, also another one that would have done good with the turnaround. You can see right there, crossing over the 50-day, and up here in about 14%, which you'd be taking profits about now. Etsy, rocking it. ZS, LL, pulling back a little bit. MMNFF, Urban. You know, I kind of wish these things didn't jump around. It's kind of annoying. I do have to admit that. All right, HCC. This is one we've had on here for a very long time. Very non-volatile stock, especially over the past little bit here. You can see the 200-day in my dotted has been flat. And we have the 50. So we're oscillating around the 200-day, which indicates a choppy market. And if we get above kind of this high here, let me put an alert here. That could be a pretty good buy point, I think, for HCC. I've had my eye on this one for a while. Hasn't really had an opportunity to get involved. I don't know what's going on with coal, other than the fact there's no coal businesses left. But you can see how nice and tight that is. This whole structure, nothing's wrong with it. I really do like this looking chart. Looks really good. So fun. This one looks excellent for a turnaround play. This one crossed the 50-day here. 200's way up here. I mean, it's probably a double. 70% up to the 200. Obviously, this will come down a little bit. So maybe you're looking at it covering up here at about 40-50%. But there's a potential there for a turnaround play. So fun for a turnaround play. So I'm going to go ahead and place an alert over this. Now it's also really close to the 200-day the 50 moving average in blue here, and good little volume pops on the way up here. There's some distribution here. Don't know if it's buyable this second, but it's definitely worth keeping an eye on. All right, Grub, which just passed me up. This was one we were looking at for a turnaround play, and it looks like it's going to try to cross our trend line here. Look at it this morning, looking pretty good. This one looks potentially primed for an entry here. I do like that little declining trend line, and that's on a go list right here today. That may be buyable. Let's go take a second look at Grub. I looked at it a couple days ago on that green day there. Didn't buy it. It was below the trend line yesterday. Consolidated. Now we're kind of back down here. Not sure how long I want to give Grub, because I'm supercharging these as I tend to do. It's about 20% higher on Grub. So we're looking at, going to about 100, I think. You got the law of round numbers coming into play right there. 37 days, 50 days. Yeah, so Grub, if it goes to 100, has some really good option opportunities right there. Even if you take it out to April. After earnings, so that's positive. I don't know what else. Okay, I do have an alert on Grubhub. It's a little bit above here on the trend line. Looks like they're leaving. Yeah, looks like they're leaving. Pretty good volume today. So Grubhub definitely on a short list. HCC also on a short list, attempting to possibly break out. TBT. TBT is I think this is short bonds or something like that. I'm not quite sure how this will work. This looks like it's a potential turnaround play right there. Only about 5% up until it reaches resistance though. And I'm not sure 37 appears to be the number. I'm not quite sure how good that's going to do. It does pretty good. Actually, yeah, 30 days out, you're looking at 100+% on this name. If it can get back up to here in 30 days. Not sure if it has history doing that. Kinda, right there, you start crossing. So again, this has to do with bonds. I'm not quite sure how. I think this is where your chart reading skills come into play. How bullish is this versus other setups? Here's another one where it bounced. This one took its choppy way to get up 10%. Moved up 7% pretty quick. So it does have possibilities here. This one, it didn't get far at all. Hold on, guys. All right. So I'll probably avoid TBT just because it's weird. ZTO 1%, SAVB 1%. Docu still moving. Boot also still moving. Both of these just keep grinding. Grub, XON. We have that one for a turnaround play. Looks like it has earnings. Not quite sure if you want to gamble on that or not, but it's set up to, could potentially rock. These are setups that we see move higher, not necessarily through earnings, but just generally. But yeah, XON looks pretty good here for one of those turnaround plays. And I don't have it written down. Oh yeah, I do. I have it down 225. So 2 days ago. And so now again, XON. But right before earnings, it's going to be pretty difficult to do that. So I think the thing with with these are, if you want to take it, you got April here at 50. I don't talk about option strategies too often, but so 824, you have about 75 cents, maybe a little bit more, 70, 80 cents of premium built into this for April. So it's got to get 80 cents. So it's got to hit $9 to break even, which isn't too bad, as a matter of fact. So XON options for earnings isn't too bad. I would, in this situation, I probably would try to limit your risk with some options. Net change, not very liquid options. Pretty widespread, 60 to 85, 210 to 260. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's okay, but XON right there. That's a pretty nice setup. I like that bounce to higher low, going flat for a while, 50-day curling under it. It looks pretty good. There's HCC again, boot, data, grub. Now again, I'm clicking through my list, and this list is sorted by percentage gain, so I'm probably missing a few as I'm clicking through. And we'll see a few as I'm clicking through too. Let's look at ZTO. So coming out of here, looking pretty good. And volume signatures, okay. Getting above that 19.8 would be advantageous if it can do that. SIVB still consolidating, going sideways. They're declining volume, not really breaking down, which is good, being supported at the 20-day moving average. Data. MJ's getting jumpy here. You over that line yet, MJ? You were supported by it earlier this morning, so that could be good. EOG, a potential turnaround play. You've got a 50-day moving average right there. And this one also, MyGen, also potential turnaround play, not my favorite. CYBR, I'm trying to catch it. We had this here about a week ago on these 2 days. I think right on that day we talked about it. Didn't harp on it, but that would have been a good little bounce play on a stock that, on a gappy stock that pulled back. Those seem to be working out pretty decently. Hey, what up, Cool Frost? How you been doing? Been a while, buddy.
Daddy.
What's up? Pretty good. We go to the dentist today, so those teeth got to be good. All right, tablet. Where's that?
I think it's...
I think it's out. I think it's in the living room. What's up, Eli? Do you think NASDAQ BTC price indices could have an effect on the investors to move more to stocks and gain some interest? By interest, do you mean like actual monetary interest, or do you mean thinking about Bitcoin interest? Like, I don't know about NASDAQ. I'm not sure what you mean by NASDAQ BTC price. Talking about them trying to open an exchange or something? Because I think they are, if I'm not mistaken. How to get the Funko? Yeah, we talked about Tesla this morning. I don't know. So I've got this stocks channel, and there's 7 people watching it right now, and I've got, I've shouted it out to thousands of people, and there's 7. So I don't know if maybe it's just the time that I do this, but I've tried doing this in the afternoon a few times, and there's still like 7 to 10 people on here. So for some reason, they're just not super interested in stocks. I think it's the whole infrastructure and the stigma behind stocks, that stock seems legitimate, crypto seems fun. I think that's the psychological component to it. Stocks are a little bit, stodgy. Crypto's millennial. I don't know, but I mean, I hope so. I'd like to get more crypto investors into stock. I think if you're interested in crypto and trading in general, and once you start to explore the stock market and see what the options are out there, there's nothing wrong with stocks whatsoever. All right, let's keep going with this program here. We'll kind of go lower. We're looking for potential bottom buy, CBM potential bottom buy, turnaround play, actually. Turnaround play. They're trying to get above the 50. Hasn't quite mustered it yet. A lower low. I'm still looking at these to see if there's a pricing structure that makes sense. Either the ultimate low holds or a shakeout below is a better turnaround play. I'm gathering charts. I don't have too many yet. I've only got a few. Some of these have worked in the past. See, this one had a shakeout before it started rallying. Regeneron. Here's a prior Regeneron base, also had a shakeout. I'm trying to see if that, so here could be a shakeout, but you could also consider this flat. This is STZ. This is something else. Oh, this is here. Here right now actually has a potential turnaround play. Also Grub and Tilray. So I'm kind of gathering charts here a little bit, seeing what may work. Lilly up 0.59%. Getting on with the program. Look at that. Unfortunately, it's only a 5-minute chart. Wish that was a better chart. But it's moving in the right direction. Okay, so let's keep going here. We're looking for some of those turnaround plays. So CBM is a potential turnaround play. I'm not sure it's my favorite one. It tends to have these rallies and then come right back down. But I guess maybe trying to get over that trend line, shaking some investors out on earnings and then rallying back, that could get interesting on CBM. I got to go through and spend a day looking through charts at this stuff and just really see what's what. Funko, Restoration Hardware, Fang, another potential turnaround play. A lot of oil stocks look like that. Twilio, talked about that on a pullback. Fang, Boeing, it's jumping around on me again. Trade Desk, bam, Trade Desk. Funko, Restoration, now they're just recycling. Boeing, just non-stop. YY, turnaround plays probably, I guess it's still probably valid here. I don't know how much space we have to the 200 at this stage, but actually that's still about 10%. So maybe not too bad earnings coming up. It is living kind of lower in this strange, being supported by this 8 EMA. MJ trying to clear that trend line. WDR, Restoration Hardware again. Twilio, Lope, Soy. Soy is actually not looking too bad here. Nice, very tight consolidation right before earnings. Earnings are after market today. I'm not quite sure. Let's see what options volatility is on this name. If you go closest to the money, you've got, it's 1630, so actually not too bad if you want to. That's not bad at all. I'm not sure how volatile it's been on earnings. Not really. Hasn't been very. This one had a good reaction. Oh, that's a dividend. Okay, so this one popped 1031. I'm assuming that's 1031. Yep. This one popped a good amount. This one popped about 8%. So 8% here. Let's say it pops 8%. Put you up at 1767, so at $1.50 higher, and you're looking at, yeah, you're not looking too bad. You're not looking too bad. So SOI, nice and tight right before earnings. That could be something. I love these tight patterns like this. I just wish earnings wasn't tomorrow. U.S. and China trade war could affect USD prices versus other cryptocurrencies. USD prices versus other currencies? Well, first of all, he's trying to pull out of the trade war. He doesn't want the trade war anymore. I'm pretty sure of that. I mean, he doesn't seem to be a very patient man, and this has already gone on for a while. So I think there's a lot of pressure on him to kind of get the deal done. He's probably pressuring himself too. So I think it'll be resolved in one way or another. I think it'll be resolved, and we'll probably get a. I don't know. Maybe everyone's waiting for that, and they'll sell that news because we've ran up for quite a while without much of a pullback. I mean, since the beginning of the year, actually looks like a little before the beginning of the year, without any, so 2 full months with pretty much no pullbacks. They could use that to sell, and then they'll rebuy as it gets lower there. So we'll have to see there. All right, Paycom, Garmin, NetEase, Team, Goose, Amid. Oh, Square down now. Was up, now it's down. Boo! And this one earnings is coming up today after market. All right, let me check. Where's my stuff? Am I in my stocks profile? I am in my stocks profile. We broke a significant trend line. Which one, Jake? On who, what, where, when, why, how? All the verby questions. with some of these positions I have, maybe. Oh yeah, what's Shen doing? This has been getting destroyed. It's been the worst reaction in a while. So we get a bounce out of that. I'll ditch it. Got it till April, so not super concerned. Plus, it's the smallest position in my account. 0.6% of my portfolio. Not bad. Not bad at all. Yeah, so we got a couple in profit-taking territory. How's SIVB so low? Upward trend S&P since New Year's Eve. Yeah, so depending how you want to draw that, because if you draw from the bottom, there's no easy way to draw that trend line. You could take that low, but that was broken January. You take that low, but that was broken whenever, February. So there's no major. If you take this trend line here, you're not broken yet. Now this is the ES. I'm not sure if you're using the SPY or what you're actually using, but I don't think trend is broken. Here's the 10-day moving average, which we're still above the 10-day moving average, so I'm not super concerned about that. The 50 days curling up at this stage of the game, which is fine. So we've been talking a little bit. Usually, it's the start of the hours here about pulling back and maybe testing the 50-day. Let's check the SPY. Oh yeah, that is definitely a little bit of a different chart. So there's kind of your immediate trend. You could almost even draw it like that if you wanted to, or if you want to cut it in. I'm not sure how far you want to cut it in, but I don't think we've really broken any significant trend lines yet. Close to 50-day on the hourly. Yeah, I don't do a lot of hourlies in stocks. In fact, I do 0 hourlies. I'll look at the 5-minute if I wanted to see intraday action. I don't really mess with. But again, like I said, if you take the ultimate bottom, there's no trend line yet. We still need a second point. Well, yeah, but where do you draw that second point? Right there? Is that where you take your second point? Because you're omitting all this price action. Why isn't this a valuable low? The way I view my trend lines is they line up valuable lows, and we haven't had one yet. I think that's my general opinion, is we haven't quite had one yet. Now, an index is a little tricky to draw trend lines on because it's not an individual name. So they're a little trickier to draw trend lines on. We did talk the other day about hitting this resistance up here, which we really haven't been able to kind of get over yet. The second low. Yeah, see, that's why I have this trend line drawn, because it's hit multiple times. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 hits on this trend right there. That's kind of why I drew this one. And then you can just take a parallel line from that, and you can see you have 3 hits up there. So we're kind of in a channel right now. I would view this as the channel, in my opinion. Now, like I said, we've hit this resistance point, and see volume kind of dropping a little bit as we get higher. So they're leaning in here, and they're kind of letting off the gas a little bit right now. But we're not having bad days. We're still above the 10-day. We're still above the 200-day. We haven't spiked back down beneath it. And we're still having nice small bars, which is good. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at anything here. I mean, nothing. I'm not mad at anything. The market's great. There's nothing wrong with this market. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens around the trade deal. That's happening this week. We got North Korea this week. It's hard to say exactly how those are going to affect the market. But, yeah, so I think that's our channel. And so if you go back to prior run-ups, kind of zoom out a little bit here. So like here we have this one breaking out of lows. There's no, we don't really have a major channel here. Of course, this one kind of failed in the highs. I don't have any further history. 809, I got to run here pretty quick. Let's just look through this for a minute. So here's the 2015. Here's the 2015 low. this would probably be our most likely scenario for something. And you see here we also have a trend line that kind of doesn't exist. Actually, that one may exist with those 3 points. Not quite. So this is a lot less organized than our current structure. Our current structure is pretty organized. I mean, it kind of looks like this, but on a bit of a smaller scale. Right there. We're really just getting on with the program. It's just happening. I mean, there's very few red days. Our distribution days are minor. Very, very minor. As a matter of fact, if we go to IBD, I'm not even quite sure. I mean, you may have 2 most, I believe. Let me go to the big picture and find out. Last time I checked, we had 2, and that was like 2 weeks ago, so we could have dropped off a distribution day. But even if we still have 2, it's not too bad. 3 on the S&P, 1 on the NASDAQ. So well within... So we're super far away from dropping into any kind of a correction. So, yeah, 3 on the S&P, 1 on the NASDAQ. And the NASDAQ really runs the market. So that's going to be a distribution day. That's going to be a distribution day. And I'm not sure where the third one is. They used to put them on the chart. They stopped because people were getting confused. That pissed me off. Because I'm like, why are you getting confused about distribution days? That's not a... Maybe there's a stalling day here. I don't know. But anyway, so a couple of distribution days. But that one's even not too bad. Look, it has a buying component to it. This one even here has a buying component to it. So, yeah, I think we're far from unhealthy. I would not be shorting stocks. I would be doing nothing but looking to buy breakouts. And I like these turnaround plays. So I'm trying to focus on those and these consolidation plays. I would think, so your V bottom being bad, usually, now I say usually because every situation is different, you usually would fail here at this resistance point. I think you would fail that if that's your V bottom breakout. This would be called a dead cat bounce then at that point in time. But since then, we've had a month and a half of good movement. So I think we could be doing consolidation, some kind of something other than rallying. We've paused at this resistance level. Maybe we go back down and test the 200 or this level right there. But keep in mind, this is an index. This is not an individual stock. This is not an individual stock. So like here you get a double bottom with a V pattern out of 2015. And then here's one of these that goes back into highs. You see this one right here, this V bottom. You don't retest it until the next year when you have a big rounding top scenario. So see, all throughout here it would have been difficult to trade. Breakouts would have stalled, similar to what we saw at the latter part of 2017 or 2018. Very similar to that. And then you get the next year where you get some resistance around that area. You come back, you test that resistance, hit the 200-day, then bounce off again. So this V bottom, it kind of looks like we're here, So maybe we do break down and come back and test the 200-day or something, but we're actually above the 200-day because we're in a turnaround situation. So test the 50, test the 200. The 50 is still under the 200, mind you, as well. But yeah, so we are hitting a resistance level. There's definitely a possibility of a pullback at some point. So if you're really concerned about that, start taking profits on trades that you have profits on, and that's about it. So all right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Have a good day. See you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.